big viewer request. You gotta call this, I've heard like the Richter scale, like a 1 to 10 Richter scale. I call this the bitch scale. Like, everybody keeps asking me to find something. It's like, all you've been doing is endlessly praising the X-T2. It's not entirely true, but it's pretty much mostly true. People said the same thing about me. I will hearken you back, because I was the first schmuck on the internet. I mean, I made a bazillion videos on the D500. And before anybody else, too, by the way. And everybody's like, oh my god, all you're doing is praising this camera. And I said, listen, my predictions come 100% true on the D500. I said this camera is going to be like the legendary point of reference, and it has been. Everybody keeps asking me to compare this camera to the D500, but it's not just this Fuji X-T2. Everybody's like, well, how does so-and-so camera compare to the D500? How does this camera... So I was 100% right on that one. I'm going to pat myself on the back about that one. Since this is such a hardcore viewer request, it's like, well, find something to bitch about the Fuji X-T2. Okay, well, I've got a couple things, but let me tell you, before I mention these 4 things, that on the bitch factor of 1 to 10, this maybe rates a 1 or 1.5. I mean, that's really good. So... I got a few things to... There's no perfect camera. There's always something to bitch about, and a couple of these things are nitpicky nonsense anyway. You can't shift the actual metering. You can't go between a spot, center, and matrix and average unless you actually go up here and physically turn the knob. I've had actually one person that really, really loves this camera. He's doing a wedding shoot, and he's talking about, well, he has to reach up here, and he has to move the metering. That's true. There's not a sub-function for moving the metering. Is that something to bitch about? I think it's just a wee thing to bitch about. I understand that viewpoint, and I concur mostly. Mostly I do. Never going to be a perfect camera, Video, it should also tell you, I mean, I'm so glad I'm not a video person, and I'm glad that it's like you're actually praising a missing feature. No, I'm not. At least it isn't making like 10,000 terabyte sized files like the Canon 5D Mark IV. Have you seen the file size like on the 4K video from the Canon 5D Mark IV? I mean, they're abysmal. What is it, like a 32 gigabyte card will give you like what, like 8 minutes or something? It's the files are huge. The 4K video on the Fuji X-T2 is incredible. The bitch factor is that the video is still too slow to autofocus. Other people confirm exactly what I found out. And you should understand that too. Listen, the user's manual for the Fuji X-T2 is only 6 pages long. And they're actually, realistically, if you actually were to all put them in the correct font size and borders, it would be like 1.5 pages long. It's like, this is about video recording. So anytime the user manual is about that big on video recording, that means that, the camera's not geared at... If Fuji has said this camera is geared because it has F-log out on HDMI. Fuji has said that this is geared towards video record. Well, I could say it is a whole lot more so than the X Pro 2 or the X-T1. I mean, is this something like the hardcore movie maker is going to... I'm not a video person, but the video people I've talked to said no. I mean, it's not. I think the 4K video is beautiful on it. And God knows, I know for a fact that unlike the phony, that it's not overheating and crashing. So that's really good. It's like, would you rather have a camera with more video features that overheats and crashes, or a camera with fewer video features that doesn't crash and overheat? Yeah, I'll take this one instead. But I'm not a video person. But I will bitch. Actually, a benefit also that I was using is that you do have focus peaking in manual mode for video. And you can sit there and focus peak in video and be really fast. And videos have been made that way now for ages. I don't see the issue. You need to probably set the ISO and your auto functions for exposure on video. I've gone over the video section of the user manual, and I've actually done a lot of messing around with the 4K video on the Fuji X-T2. Not that I'm a video person at all, nor did I ever claim to be, but the video output is extremely nice. I did not buy this as a video camera. The autofocus in video is a bit too slow, so that's a bitch. Other people report the same thing. No big deal. The back button autofocus, and I knew this would be the case, of course. The other people, and there's been a video made with a pre-production Fuji X-T2, the AFL, do assign one of these as the back button autofocus. It really is too small. But I know that Fuji, their design ergonomics, they wanted to keep it that way because if it was too big, it'd be too easy to accidentally hit. But it also is positioned in a way underneath the thumb bump, as I call it, that you actually have to twist your thumb to use the back button autofocus, either that or go over top of it. So the ergonomics for using the Fuji X-T2 as a back button autofocus camera are, shall we say, no bueno. But that's no big deal to me. I really don't give a damn. I shoot my Nikon D500. My other Nikon's back button autofocus. I'm perfectly happy to do that, and I'm perfectly not unhappy to not use that feature on the Fuji X-T2. Button's too small, and to use the AFL as a back button autofocus, it gets in the way because of the thumb bump, as I call it. The thumb, they call it the thumb rest. This bump here, it doesn't matter what you call it. This is the fourth and final little thing to bitch about, and I told people that this would happen. Fuji nor Nikon likes other third-party companies screwing around with their TTL. It's like somebody hacking their system. That means that's one less speed light that they're going to sell. The Nissan, if you get a Nissan speed light, it will still work in auto mode and manual mode on your Fuji X-T2, but it's not going to do TTL anymore. And there is going to be an update. You know, because the new Fuji Speedlight is releasing here in 15 days, the 500, which is made by Metz, the big old speedlight. The X Pro 2 and very likely the X-T1 will, I know the X Pro 2 definitely will. So will the X-T1, really. It will get an update, and once that happens, your Nissan i40 Flash is going to be dead as a doornail except for manual mode and auto on your X-T1 and your X Pro 2. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. It's already dead on the X-T2. Nissan has not said anything about updating the firmware, but I've warned you people about TTL stuff anyway. I mean, I've warned everybody. TTL is a form of slavery. I call TTL le pouce de TTL because that's exactly what it's called. It's like shooting in program mode. TTL is to photography what puss mode or program mode is to photography. I'm going to stick everything in automatic and let the camera choose for me. Yay! Bad idea. There are some things you do need TTL, like photojournalism, some sports, a few other things that TTL is enormously useful. Generally speaking, no, don't need it. And that's why I call it le pouce de TTL. Call it pussy flash photography. That's basically what I'm saying. Which is what it is. So yeah, the Nissan speedlights are dead, kaput. They're dead for TTL flash photography, the X-T2, and they will be dead. Listen to me, they will be dead for TTL on the X-T1 and the X Pro 2, because once that flash comes out, Fuji's going to release a firmware update for the X Pro 2 and the X-T1, and that firmware update is going to brick, kill, castrate, whatever, the Nissan speedlights. So, like I said, on a bitch factor of 1 to 10, this is like, you know, maybe a 1 or a 1.5, and everybody keeps saying, well, you keep praising the X-T2. And, you know, my answer to that is that really it is that damn good. And what I've bitched about here is, it's not that much. And that's all I can find to bitch about. I mean, it is. I mean, I had this, now other people had pre-production cameras of like this, you know, since March and April. But I was at least the first person to get a retail version of it. I got it early. I got it a few days earlier than I was supposed to. So I've had a lot of time, and I've really been pounding this camera hard. That sounds wrong. But that's all I've got to bitch about. And those 4 little things are not much, really. The X-T2 is actually incredibly well made, incredibly priced. The value on it is absolutely excellent. And you stick the vertical grip on this, which I've got coming, by the way. But I've already used this with a vertical grip. A pre-production model. I know exactly what it's capable of. And the full functionality of this camera is split. That was something else other people could bitch about. Now, I would have bought it even if it had no functionality other than another battery, because I'm a vertical grip slut. But other people can bitch if they don't like vertical grips and go, oh, you know, the camera is castrated a little bit, well, a good bit, until you stick a vertical grip on it. So that is a bitch for some people. I understand this. Like, well, I just want the camera, but the camera does not have full absolute functionality without the vertical grip. You got to buy the vertical grip to get that output, like the 30 minutes of video, the 14 frames per second electronic shutter, the faster 8% faster strike rate on autofocus and continuous shooting. You got to have the vertical grip for that. So for other people, that is a legitimate thing to bitch about. It's not mine because I bought the vertical grip regardless. But I have to think about other people, you know, not just myself. So that's actually a fifth point. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, drop me a buck or two. Tell me to jump off a cliff. Send me a pack of pizzas, or, you know, preferably a box of shortbread cookies, like about Yehal Scottish shortbread cookies. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding at all. Okay, thanks, bye.